stiletto sales dropped 12% last year. Ballet flat sales went up 222%. And that's not a fashion story, that's an economy story. The question isn't whether you wear heels, the question is whether you can afford to. And those are two completely different things. I want to start with a question that sounds simple, but really isn't. Who can actually wear high heels without their day-to-day becoming harder because of it? Because when you think about it, wearing a 10 centimeter heel is a completely different experience depending on your lifestyle. If your commute is door to car, to elevator, to corporate office, fine. But if you're walking 3 blocks of cobblestone and getting on public transport and crossing a city on foot, those same shoes are a choice between looking a certain way and surviving your day. And that difference says something not about the shoe, but about the power. Now, first, let's start with the data. Sales of classic stilettos dropped 12% in 2024 compared to the previous year, according to retail analytics firm Edited. High heels over 4 inches now account for only 70% of non-flat shoe sales. That's down from 47% in 2014. Meanwhile, Ballet flat sales went up 92% versus 2024 and 222 versus 2023. Christian Louboutin, literally the brand most associated with heels, expanded its Ballet flat assortment by 38%. Even Barbie's foot arc has been getting flatter since the 90s. A peer-reviewed study analyzed 2,700 Barbie dolls and found out that as the doll took on more active and professional roles, her foot posture literally changed. Even Mattel noticed. Now, here's some history you didn't know about. High heels were actually invented for men, specifically for Persian cavalry soldiers in the 10th century. Heels keep your foot in the stirrup while riding. They moved into European aristocracy in the 1600s as a status symbol, literally designed for people who didn't have to walk on uneven ground. The heel was always saying, I don't need to be practical because my environment is controlled for me. In sociology, there's actually a concept for this called the logistics of privilege. The idea that your physical environment, like smooth floors, private transport, or even climate-controlled spaces, determines what you can wear without it being a problem. So the heel has always functioned best when the logistics of your life support it. And those logistics have always been about class. Today, the debate gets framed as empowerment versus oppression. Do heels make women feel powerful, or do they limit movement and reinforce gender performance? But I think that framing misses the more interesting question is, who gets to choose? Because for some women, wearing heels, it's pure expression. It comes from aesthetics, from a love of the silhouette, from how it feels to walk in them, and that's real and valid. But for others, walking flat without being labeled unprofessional is itself a conquest. The fact that we're still in a professional environment where some women feel they need heels to be taken seriously, that's worth examining. And then there's the body piece that's uncomfortable to talk about. Prolonged heel use can alter your posture. It can strain tendons and even compress your spine. The luxury of not wearing them, of choosing comfort without social consequence, it's a privilege in itself. So, what does the trend actually mean? When stiletto sales drop 12% and Ballet flat goes up 222% in 1 year, what's actually happening? A few things at once. The post-pandemic body autonomy shift is real. People spent 2 years in comfort and they don't want to fully reverse that. Gen Z matured in streetwear culture and simply doesn't have the same relationship with stilettos that millennials did. But there's also an economic reading. In uncertain economies, practical footwear always wins. Not because fashion doesn't matter, but because when money is tight and your day is long, the shoe has to work for your actual lifestyle, not your aspirational one. The heel is declining in mass markets and growing in luxury markets. Luxury heels in stock are up 21% year over year. So this stiletto isn't dying, it's just becoming even more of a class signifier. The people who can afford to wear heels comfortably because their logistics support it are still buying them at the top. So, are high heels a sign of money in this new economy? Maybe, but more specifically, there's a sign of a controlled environment. Private transport, smooth floors, a life where the ground beneath you cooperates. The real luxury is not the shoe, it's the freedom to take it off whenever you want and face no consequence for doing so. So, yeah, it's just a shoe, but it's also a map who has what kind of access to the world. Do you wear heels because you love them or because you feel like you're supposed to? I'm genuinely asking, so please tell me all about it in the comments.